Okay, for this last bit of module 3, I want to show you like 2 or 3 things that are important, but like a melting pot of information, and especially like some stuff that are voluntarily hidden because they are new features. But while we are at it in the training, I would like to show you those features. So first, there's one thing we kind of touched on real quick, which was tool option. This is not a new feature, this is something a bit hidden. You have pick curve sensitivity and pick point sensitivity. That does what it says it does, so it will kind of look like 10 millimeters around your mouse and pick a curve, and same 15 millimeters around your mouse to pick a point. So that's fine, but sometimes if the part is very small, or if you have a lot of points one next to each other or lines, it's going to be hard. So yeah, you might need to work with that. Another thing is that it will also affect your tool create curve, and let's say 15 here. It will also affect how far you need to go to have, let's say, an increment. So now I was at 10, so you can see like how the increment goes. So I have to move like up to that point here, about to have like it completely flat. Tools option, if I go and make it like 1 here, click OK, it will be like I will need to just go to here to be completely flat, where I was like here for the next one, for the other one. So you just have like 1 millimeter of reach. So another word, like the other one you had 10 millimeters from 0 to 10 will be like either completely normal to completely flat, so 0, 10 millimeters. This one you have 1 millimeter to go from completely normal to completely flat. So it can be useful in both kind of direction. You can always go very closely and just like move it, so like you can still have the same let's say precision. So yeah, it's kind of a tool that I use either bigger or smaller, depending on the situation. That was the first thing. Another thing, if you take your keyboard and you press Ctrl Shift and N, so this is a new one that we just added. This will kind of unlock some feature in development. So if you click yes here, let's go tool, create curve, and I'm just gonna create that 90-degree curve here. Oops, tool create curve. Must have created this one like 20 times now. To utilities curve follower project, you now have a edit weld settings option that appeared that wasn't there before. So if I select that, click done. If you click on edit weld settings, don't worry too much about the name, that will change. You will have that option appearing here. So the first and most useful, I believe, is the offset here. So that will let you offset the path either normal to itself or to the side of itself. So where can that be useful? If I do update and simulate here, that's great. So that can be very useful in a situation like the one here we have with the groove. So if I go tool, create curve, let's say come here, extract this section here, this section here, this section here, minus, this section here, this section here, this section here, this section here. And this section, click done, utilities, curve follower project, select curve, just remove the auto extract, select that curve, auto select all. I'm gonna click done here before I'm gonna right click here, split curve in half first of all, because so I can start like in the middle here, which makes more sense. Right click, reset selection, start here, auto select all, click done. And now if I use my edit weld settings, I know that this groove here is 7 millimeters wide, so if I go 3.5, I can go minus 3.5 in this case. There's little pieces where you don't have anything, so you can just use the joint curve tolerance to, I don't know, 5 or something like that. That makes sense. And now I have a path right in the middle of my groove, so I can update, can close that here, update, and then simulate, and I have a path just like that. So that's another option. I played a bit with it. It works very well for such situations, so I recommend trying it. Afterwards, I won't be showing much of the other ones because I didn't work with it. Start cut and cut will, let's see, here have a line of, I can show you in fact. So if you go ahead and select this one here, edit well, so this is the one on top here. If I remove that here, bring it to 0, and now if I start cut, I don't know, 10 millimeters and end cut 10 millimeters, it will simply remove a section here that you won't play. In fact, you won't use the first 10 millimeters of that path. So that's a thing. And then you have the flare distance, and then so flare is for when you have a section where you want to weld and there's like a straight angle and you don't want to like kind of hit the corner, so you can play with that. So I could potentially show you guys how it works with the curve tool, modify welding, so this one here, so that should be usable for that section here. Tool, create curve here. It's honestly the first time I'm trying that, so that's a bit of a risky move, but let's run with it. Like utilities, curve follow project, select curve, and then select this one, reverse direction, select this one here, click done. Here's going to be a Z plus, show preferred tool path, like that. So that's great. Now I should be able to go to edit weld settings. Like I said, first time I'm using that, I'm not guaranteeing anything here. And I will go and say, okay, the distance for the flare will be on both end and start will be 25 here, 25 here, and then I don't know, like 45 like that, and then 45 like that. So that should give us a pad that will go here and be in straight line, rotate a 45-degree angle here, then continue. So this, but the issue that I see here is that it also applies it here. So I would like to have it, let's say, first point, last point, but you not have those, and then to have the corner here. So if I close that here, open the path settings that I have here, bring it here, show preferred tool path, and I'm gonna look at what it looks like. So that kind of works. The only issue I have is with the fact, so this is what I was kind of hoping for. It kind of works, but there's still some work to be done here. So the goal is to be able to have that sections here, that section here, kind of automatically avoiding the collision in the corner. Oops. Avoiding the collision here in the corner with the torch and the side here. But as you can see here, there's kind of a bit of an oversteer and then understeer here. So this will be something we need to look at. But yeah, that's what the feature should be doing in the near future. So like I said, I was not guaranteeing anything, but that's still a I would say, a great improvement. The offset one is super useful for sure. The cut end can be very useful if you don't want to go up to the end of a path and you still have the path. So that happened to me a few times. That would have been very useful. This is, like I said, there's a reason why it's hidden behind a Control-Shift-N option where you can like remove the development feature, and now if you reopen that, you won't have the development feature anymore. It's because it's not necessarily ready for prime time, but it's there if you ever need to use it. So that was everything for Advanced Path Generation Part 3. I hope it was helpful. We now need to talk about how to actually generate robot program. That will be kind of the next part that we need to address.